I found out my fiancé cheated right before the wedding, with 3 different guys. My 27M relationship with my fiancé, 29F, has kinda blown up. I never felt this unsure in our relationship. I'm in need of outside perspectives. For context, we're college sweethearts. For orientation, I was touring campus, and she was my group's tour guide. That's how we met. She's my first love and best friend. Now we're in the height of wedding planning. About a couple of years ago, we had a rough patch with her shutting down and pushing me away. She wanted to take a break so she could find herself again. I don't believe in breaks. I wanted to work through it together, but her mind was made. So I agreed. We established boundaries for the break. We wouldn't see other people, and we were to have checkups about where we were emotionally. The goal was to reinforce our foundation. The break was only a month. We bounced back stronger, but it's still a sore spot. The break was the most distant we'd ever been, and the experience highlighted why I'm against it. Recently, my fiancé had a bad falling out with a mutual friend/maid of honor, 29F, who I'll call Joss for clarity. Some nasty stuff was said, and Joss accused my fiancé of being a bridezilla and an even worse friend. I hoped the rift between them would mend because they were close for a long time. They were like sisters. But my fiancé kicked Joss out of the wedding and uninvited her. The damage seemed to be done for both. The other day, Joss reached out to me and said that my fiancé wasn't being completely truthful. She revealed not only did my fiancé see other guys during the break, but also hooked up with someone on their annual girls' trip. She gave the guy's name, but I don't know who he is. On the trip, my fiancé's group linked up with another they clicked with. Joss said it was clear the guy had an eye for my fiancé, and eventually she and he began wandering off. My fiancé ignored Joss's attempts at talking her down. It was a lot to take in. My initial instinct was to shut Joss down. Up until this point, I trusted my fiancé fully, but I couldn't overlook how much Joss's account matched my doubts from back then. Like I said, we were the most distant during our break. It wasn't on my part. There were times she was AWOL on our checkups. During the girls' trip that fell on our break, she went radio silent in a way she wasn't on previous trips. There was truth to linking up with another group because my fiancé told me about it. She's still casually in touch with some of them. Right after the trip, she was gung-ho on calling the break off, how it was a mistake, and that she was in a better headspace. Joss claimed this was part of their falling out. She was pushing my fiancé to come clean with me before the wedding. She felt I deserved to know and wished she would have said something sooner. I didn't say much. I was too numb to really feel anything. I initially didn't confront my fiancé. I was trying to process, but she could tell something was wrong and kept asking. When I did confront her, she was a whirlwind of emotions. She mostly ranted about Joss, but I told her this was her chance to tell her own story. She asked if I'd hear her out. I promised I would. She confessed to seeing other guys during the break, but claims nothing happened. She also denies ever hooking up with anyone on the trip. I asked her why Joss would tell the truth about her seeing other guys, which alone thoroughly broke our boundaries, but make up an elaborate lie about her cheating on the trip. She insists Joss is trying to sabotage our relationship. She said the other guys meant nothing, and I'm the one she was in love with. It was like she wanted me to be grateful for choosing me. She promised to do anything to regain my trust. She said we're starting our lives together, and I shouldn't let Joss come between us. I wasn't very receptive to her. We fought, and I told her I needed to think. Ever since, she's been pouring on so much affection. She still swears she never hooked up with anyone on the girls' trip and that Joss is trying to sabotage. But I can't shake the possibility that Joss is telling the truth. All of this has blown up while we're in the middle of wedding planning. Invites already delivered, venue booked, catering being arranged, suits, dresses, everything. I feel so numb. I'm in love with my fiancé. She's my best friend. It feels wrong to doubt her, but I'm questioning everything. Even myself. What to believe anymore. I feel like an idiot. How do I move forward for myself and my relationship? TLDR, my fiancé's and my relationship has blown up after she had a bad falling out with her maid of honor, who told me not only did my fiancé see other guys while we were on a break, but she also hooked up with someone on their girls' trip. My fiancé confessed to seeing other guys on the break, but denies hooking up with anyone. She's accusing her friend of trying to sabotage our relationship. We fought, and I told her I needed space. Ever since, she's been pouring on so much affection. We're in the middle of wedding planning, and now this mess. I'm lost and questioning everything. What to believe anymore. How do I move forward for myself and my relationship? Comments. Fluffcat04. We established boundaries for the break. We wouldn't see other people. That's all you need to know. You established a boundary, she broke it. Whether she actually slept with someone or not, you need to decide if you can forgive that she's lied to you for years. Essentially, she withheld information in order to get back together with you and did not give you all the facts so that you could make an informed decision of whether or not that was something you wanted to do. Tropical Dragon 78. I'm afraid she'll eventually tell the truth that she did sleep with someone else, but it will be months after the wedding when your choices have a more serious impact. Wishing for a rainy day. I was prepared to call out the friend for being jealous, but after reading it all, I think she's telling the truth. I think your fiancée is trickling out the truth to you. She's only telling you what she thinks you will forgive. She's lied, and then realized she had to tell you a little bit. She's been lying since you got back together. Contact the other women that went on the trip and ask them as well. Check her phone for the messages between the group at that time. Get tested. OOP. I'm considering reaching out to the other women. Ick how open they'll be about it. I get along with them, but they're more of my fiancé's friends, and they've largely stayed out of the falling out. Notabear 87. Having been the Joss for friends myself. Meet up with Joss and have her get a friend/your fiancé on speaker, someone that knows. Hear it for yourself. She was going to keep the seeing other guys part secret forever. I think Joss is telling the truth, and your fiancé is full of shit. Update, 6 days later. Thank you to everyone who reached out. It helped give me, 27M, much-needed perspective. I wanted to give an update. I wanted a fuller picture before making a decision on anything with my fiancé, 29F. I knew her friends/bridesmaids would be a lost cause. I get along with them, but they're more of my fiancé's friends, and their group runs deep. They weren't going to talk at the expense of my fiancé. I asked Joss, 29F, for more info and for evidence to her claims about my fiancé hooking up with someone on their girls' trip. She said my fiancé avoided talking about that particular trip, especially over text. Most of their arguments were in person, but she showed me texts from shortly after the trip where my fiancé confirmed hooking up with the guy. She texted how it's in her rearview mirror and she doesn't need a lecture about the past. She's focusing on the future. I knew the possibility, and my fiancé already confessed to seeing other guys during our break, but seeing those texts made it real in a way it wasn't before. In the texts, she expressed regret, but it didn't make me feel better. I confronted my fiancé, and I knew immediately by the look on her face. She came clean on everything. She thought Joss deleted the texts. Around the break, we were having serious talks about marriage. She started worrying she was missing out on stuff her single friends were engaging in. During the break, she sought validation from other guys and fooled around with that guy on the girls' trip. In her own words, she had a temporary high when he chased her, but felt worse about herself post-hookup. She claims the break showed her what was important and that she wasn't missing out on anything. She was reassured we were right for each other. I hardly said anything to her. I mostly just listened. I was too numb for much else. She kept asking me to say something, but what was there for me to say? I felt her actions spoke enough for us both. She kept apologizing for stepping out. When I asked her why she wasn't upfront with me, she said she didn't want to lose me over her biggest mistake. Her position that Joss isn't being noble hasn't changed. I told her Joss's motive doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. She asked if I could find it in myself to move past this. She said she loves me and she's fully committed. I couldn't tell her what she wanted. I said it was best the wedding be put off and I needed space to sort my feelings. She was against postponing and proclaimed this didn't have to define us. And she's still the same woman I wanted to marry. She asked me not to give up on us. But the same way her mind was made about the break, my mind was made on postponing. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't so much a fight, more putting everything out there. She cried a lot. She rarely cries. It felt wrong to leave her crying. My first instinct was to comfort her, but I was too broken to fake it. I've been hurt before, but she hurt me in a way only she could. I know postponing the wedding is for the best. The reason why I didn't call it off entirely is because I'm way too much in my emotions right now. Hurt, anger, sadness, and somehow numbness. At all possible, I try to avoid making decisions lost in emotion. I need to clear my head. I was so sure of my course in our relationship. My fiancée was my partner in every sense. She was who I wanted to make a life with. Sometimes she'd act so superior about our relationship compared to those of her friends. I feel so stupid. She says she's still the same person I love. But the fact is she had a secret life I knew nothing about. I'm trying my best to understand that, but I'm at a complete loss. I'm not sure if I can move past this. All the guests have been informed of the postponement. Some question why, but I've been vague. I'm just too embarrassed. I feel bad for the guests too. Some with limited means already booked flights and hotels and took time off work for our wedding. That's how far we were in the home stretch. In some ways, it doesn't feel like my life. We were just together, wedding planning, and discussing the honeymoon. The honeymoon was a surprise destination for her, someplace she's always wanted to visit. Now we're here. Where to go or what the future holds. Thanks to everyone again for the support. It means a lot. Comments. Don't 139. She's the same person in her eyes. But not in yours, because you didn't know she was capable of treating you this way. Her stepping out when you were on a break is one thing. It may have been possible to overcome it. But her lying and gaslighting you is recent and is who she is. You cannot trust her to tell you the truth if she thinks a lie would serve her more. That's the kind of person she is, and has proven to be at least twice in this situation. Keep crushing 247. 100% this carrot. Hooking up with a guy on a break, even when she promised not to, is one thing. But then continuing to lie about it as she plans a wedding with you and plans to lock you down for the rest of your life is Get up. End of story. Let her go, bro. The success rate of the average marriage is pitiful as it is, and starting off with this much deception and drama and baggage is not likely to end well. Add to that, if you go through with this, whenever you look back on your actual wedding day, it will be a source of anger for you because you'll think about all your poor family and friends that had to reschedule and potentially pay for extra flights and hotels, and they will all eventually realize why the wedding had to be rescheduled. And you will look at your lying wife and picture her blowing some dude on vacation. Yo. Lazem K. No. She is no longer the same woman you wanted to marry a month ago. Since then you learned how easy it is for her to lie to you, and how happily she can do that. She is no longer the same woman. She has a very dark side that you only see now. Say, those friends of hers from the girls' trip, are that the same friends she is still hanging out with today? And did they know about her only taking a break to hook up with guys? If yes, then she surrounded herself with friends who support her in making such decisions and support her in lying to you about what she does. Those friends are all enemies of your possible relationship, enabling such behavior of your fiancé. You did the right decision to not make a final decision while high on emotions. You know all that you need to know. Now take time to yourself, separate physically from your fiancé, and tell her not to contact you. You decide when you will talk again. For now, you need time to yourself to calm your emotions down, to let go of the woman that you thought she was, and to see her for who she actually is. Only when you see her for who she is, then make a decision about your future. Good thing is, this time it at least is an informed decision. Say, have you asked her if she at least got tested for STDs back then afterwards? Or had she not even cared about your health when she hooked up with a stranger? OOP. Yeah, it's the same group of women. Same group from college. They were aware of what she was up to during the break. Gumby_grown up. Then, cut all of them off. You'll be better off. You are the company you keep. You don't need to drag down your morals and your values to stay with someone who surrounds themselves with lying cheaters who gaslight you and make shit up. It'll suck initially, but you'll be better off in the long run. I'm so sorry you have to go through this. You can and will find better. But for now, take time for yourself. You have a lot of hurt to work through and move past. Your future starts now.